Being alone is the moment when you take full control of your mind, your emotions, and your future. The most successful people in the world turn their time alone into growth, focus, and greatness. Most people see being alone as a problem. They feel uncomfortable in silence. They constantly look for distractions, approval, or company to fill the space. But what if being alone is actually the greatest advantage you can have? What if it is the key to building real strength, focus, and control over your life? Right now, ask yourself, when was the last time you truly focused on yourself without any outside noise? No opinions, no social pressure, no distractions, just you, your thoughts, and your goals. Most people avoid that because they don't know how to handle it. But those who embrace it unlock a level of mental strength that most never reach. In this video, you're going to learn why being alone is not something to fear, but something to use. You will see how solitude can help you build discipline, eliminate weak influences, and take full control of your future. If you feel stuck, if you feel like you're not making progress, it's time to change how you see being alone. Stay with me, because this will change how you think about yourself and your future forever. Now let's dive in. Number 1, embrace being alone and build unshakable inner strength. Being alone is one of the greatest opportunities you will ever have. It is a moment in your life where you get to separate yourself from the noise, from the distractions, and from the opinions of others. It is a time where you get to build something that no one can take from you, your inner strength. But here's the truth. Most people are afraid of being alone. They see it as a sign of failure, as if being by yourself means something is wrong with you. That is the wrong way to see it. Being alone is not a weakness. It is a strength. It is a choice that allows you to take control of your life in a way that few people ever do. When you are alone, you have the opportunity to think for yourself. You are no longer influenced by the people around you. You are not following the crowd. You are not adjusting your thoughts to fit in. This is the first step toward unshakable inner strength, the ability to think independently. Most people go through life doing what everyone else is doing. They take the safe path because that's what they've been told to do. They follow the habits of the people around them, even if those habits are leading them nowhere. They never stop to ask themselves, is this what I really want? But when you are alone, you are forced to confront that question. You have no one to distract you from it. You have to sit with it. And when you do, something changes. You begin to realize that you have the power to choose. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing. You don't have to live by their rules. You can create your own path. But you can only do that if you are willing to be alone long enough to figure out what that path is. Being alone also teaches you discipline. When there is no one watching, no one telling you what to do, no one holding you accountable, you have to be the one to step up. You have to decide what you are going to do with your time. Are you going to waste it? Are you going to sit around feeling sorry for yourself? Or are you going to use it to build something? This is where most people fail. They need someone else to push them. They need someone else to tell them what to do. But if you can learn to push yourself, if you can hold yourself accountable, then you become unstoppable. Because now you don't need anyone else to keep you on track. You are in control. The next thing that happens when you embrace being alone is you develop emotional control. When you are always around people, your emotions are constantly being influenced by others. Someone says something that upsets you, and suddenly your whole mood changes. Someone gives you a compliment, and you feel good for a moment. But this kind of emotional instability makes you weak. It means your happiness depends on things outside of you. But when you are alone, you start to understand your emotions. You start to see them for what they are. You learn to manage them. You learn that just because you feel something doesn't mean you have to act on it. This is what makes people unshakable. They are not controlled by their emotions. They are not reactive. They don't allow small things to ruin their day. And that kind of strength can only be built in solitude. It comes from spending time alone and learning to master your mind. If you can do that, if you can take full control of your emotions, then nothing will be able to break you. Another thing that happens when you embrace being alone is you start to trust yourself. Most people are constantly looking for validation. They need others to tell them they are doing a good job. They need approval before they make a decision. But when you are alone, you have to make those decisions yourself. You have to trust your instincts. You have to believe in yourself without needing anyone else to confirm it. And that builds confidence. The strongest people in the world are the ones who don't need validation. They don't need applause. They don't need approval. They move forward because they believe in what they are doing. And that belief comes from spending time alone, from developing the ability to think independently, from knowing that your decisions are your own. Embracing solitude also gives you time to work on yourself. When you are constantly surrounded by others, your focus is always on the outside world. You are always dealing with other people's problems, other people's expectations, other people's drama. But when you step away from that, you get to focus on what truly matters. Your growth. You get to ask yourself, what do I need to improve? What are my weaknesses? What are my strengths? What kind of person do I want to become? Most people never ask themselves these questions. They are too busy keeping up with the world around them. But when you take time to be alone, you give yourself the space to grow. You start to see your bad habits. You start to recognize the things that have been holding you back. And once you see them, you can change them. You can become stronger. You can build yourself into the kind of person that doesn't need to rely on anyone else to be successful. This is why being alone is a power. It is the foundation of strength. It is the place where real confidence is built. When you know that you can be alone, that you don't need anyone else to make you feel complete, you become fearless. Because now you are not afraid of losing people. You are not afraid of walking your own path. You are not afraid of standing alone when necessary. And the truth is, the strongest people in the world are the ones who have learned to stand alone. They are the ones who have built themselves up when no one was watching. They are the ones who have done the work in silence. They are the ones who didn't wait for approval, who didn't wait for permission, who didn't wait for someone else to guide them. They took responsibility for their own lives. They decided who they were going to be, and they did it alone. That is the power of solitude. It forces you to take full responsibility. It forces you to grow. It forces you to confront your weaknesses. And if you can do that, if you can push through the discomfort of being alone, you will build a kind of strength that most people never will. You will become unshakable. You will become independent. You will become someone who cannot be broken. Number 2, use solitude to master your thoughts and control your mind. Solitude is one of the most powerful tools you can use to take control of your life. It's the place where you can step away from the noise, from the distractions, and from the constant pull of the outside world. In solitude, you are left alone with your thoughts, and that is where true mastery begins. It is in these quiet moments that you can truly learn to control your mind. You can choose the thoughts that you want to have and dismiss the ones that hold you back. You can shape your mind into a powerful force for success, and that begins with understanding how important your thoughts are. Your thoughts are the foundation of everything you do. Every action you take, every decision you make, starts with a thought. If your thoughts are negative or scattered, your actions will reflect that. You will feel overwhelmed, uncertain, and unfocused. But when you take time for solitude, when you step away from everything and focus on your thoughts, you can begin to change them. You can begin to master them. This is where the real power lies. When you can control your mind, you can control your life. The first step in using solitude to master your thoughts is learning to become aware of them. Most people go through life without really paying attention to what's going on in their minds. They let their thoughts wander aimlessly, and before they know it, they are consumed by worries, doubts, and fears. This is where most people lose control. They allow their thoughts to take them wherever they want, and as a result, they end up feeling like they have no control over their lives. But when you are alone, you can begin to pay attention to your thoughts. You can take a step back and observe what's happening in your mind. What are you thinking about? What kind of emotions are those thoughts creating? Are they positive or negative? Are they helping you move forward, or are they holding you back? This is the first step toward mastering your mind, becoming aware of the patterns of thought that are running through your head. You can't change what you don't notice, So this awareness is crucial. Once you've become aware of your thoughts, the next step is to challenge them. Your mind will naturally try to take you down paths of negativity, fear, and doubt. It's part of being human. But just because your mind goes there doesn't mean you have to follow it. You have the power to stop those thoughts in their tracks and replace them with something more empowering. This is where you begin to take control. You can ask yourself questions like, is this thought true? Is it helpful? Is it moving me forward? If the answer is no, then it's time to let that thought go. For example, if you find yourself thinking, I'm not good enough, you can challenge that thought. Is that true? What evidence do I have that I'm not good enough? What have I accomplished in my life that shows I am capable? This process of questioning your thoughts helps you to break free from the negativity that can hold you back. You can replace those limiting beliefs with thoughts that empower you and push you toward success. But this process doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. It takes practice. And it takes commitment. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes to control your mind. Over time, you will find that you are no longer a slave to your thoughts. You will no longer feel like you are at the mercy of whatever pops into your head. Instead, you will become the one in control. You will be able to direct your thoughts, focus on what you want, and block out what you don't. The next step in using solitude to master your thoughts is to focus on what you want to create in your life. When you are constantly surrounded by other people, it's easy to get distracted by their opinions, their goals, and their dreams. But in solitude, you have the opportunity to focus solely on your own desires. What do you want? What is your vision for your life? What do you want to achieve? These are the questions that matter. By focusing on your own goals, you begin to shift your thoughts in a direction that serves you. You stop getting caught up in other people's dreams and start aligning your thoughts with your own aspirations. This is where you start to build a life that is truly your own. You stop reacting to the world around you and begin to create the world you want. Your thoughts become powerful tools that drive you forward, and you begin to take control of your destiny. One of the most powerful things about solitude is that it gives you the time and space to reflect. When you are constantly busy, constantly distracted, it's hard to find time to think deeply about your life. But in solitude, you can reflect on your past, your present, and your future. You can look at where you've been and where you want to go. You can see what's working and what's not. This kind of reflection is essential for growth. As you reflect, you can begin to identify the thought patterns that have been holding you back. Maybe you've been telling yourself that you're not good enough, or that success is for other people, not you. Maybe you've been telling yourself that you don't have the skills or the resources to achieve your goals. These are all lies that you've been telling yourself. In solitude, you can uncover these lies and replace them with the truth. You can start to build a new belief system that supports your growth, your success, and your happiness. As you master your thoughts, you also begin to build mental toughness. Life will throw challenges at you, and your thoughts will play a huge role in how you respond. When you are mentally strong, you don't allow setbacks to derail you. You don't get caught up in negative thinking when things go wrong. Instead, you use those challenges as opportunities to learn and grow. You learn that failure is not the end. It's simply a stepping stone on the path to success. Mental toughness is built in solitude. It's built in those quiet moments when you have the chance to confront your fears and doubts. It's built when you face the uncomfortable truth about your thoughts and choose to change them. The more you practice this, the stronger your mind becomes. And the stronger your mind becomes, the more capable you are of achieving your goals. Finally, solitude gives you the opportunity to develop gratitude. It's easy to get caught up in what you don't have, in what's wrong in your life, in the things you wish you could change. But in solitude, you can focus on what you do have. You can take time to appreciate the things that are going right. Gratitude has a powerful effect on your mindset. When you are grateful, you train your mind to focus on the positive, and that shifts your energy in a way that attracts more positivity into your life. Gratitude is a mindset that can change your entire life. When you are grateful, your thoughts shift from lack to abundance. You stop focusing on what you don't have, and start focusing on what you do have. This mindset will help you attract more success, more happiness, and more opportunities into your life. Number 3, cut distractions and focus on building an unstoppable life. Cutting distractions is one of the most powerful decisions you can make in your life. In a world filled with constant noise, social media, emails, and endless notifications, it's easy to lose track of what truly matters. But let me tell you this, every second you spend distracted is a second you could have spent working toward your goals, making progress, and building the life you truly desire. Distractions are the enemies of success. If you want to build an unstoppable life, you need to learn to cut them out, one by one, until they no longer control you. The first thing you need to realize is that distractions come in many forms. Some are obvious, like the constant buzzing of your phone, the temptation to scroll through social media, or watching another episode of a show when you know you should be working. But there are also subtle distractions, thoughts in your head that pull you away from your focus, people around you who don't respect your time, and even the clutter in your physical space that drains your energy and attention. Distractions are like thieves that steal your time and energy, and if you let them take over, you'll end up with nothing but regret. To build an unstoppable life, you need to take control of your focus. That means intentionally eliminating everything that doesn't contribute to your vision. This is about more than just saying no to your phone or turning off the TV. It's about rethinking how you spend your time and energy on a daily basis. Every decision you make, every action you take, should be in alignment with your goals. If it doesn't serve your purpose, it needs to go. One of the most important steps in cutting distractions is setting clear boundaries. This is where many people fail. They let everything and everyone take priority over their dreams. You've got to be intentional about where you invest your time. That means learning to say no to things that don't align with your purpose, even if it's uncomfortable. Saying no to distractions is saying yes to your future. Every time you say no to something that doesn't move you closer to your goal, you're making a choice that will serve you in the long run. Start by looking at your daily routine. How much of your time is spent on things that bring you closer to your dreams? How much time are you spending on distractions that keep you from moving forward? Get brutally honest with yourself. If you're not spending the majority of your time on things that matter, then it's time to make a change. You need to be intentional about how you spend your hours because time is the most precious resource you have. Once it's gone, you can never get it back. The moment you realize that your time is worth more than any distraction, you'll start to see results. Cutting distractions also means becoming comfortable with solitude. In today's world, we are constantly surrounded by people, noise, and chaos. We're afraid to be alone with our thoughts because it's uncomfortable. But solitude is where clarity is found. It's in those quiet moments when you can hear your own voice, when you can connect with your inner self, and when you can focus on what's truly important. Stop filling every moment of your day with noise. Carve out time for yourself, where you can think, reflect, and plan your next steps without interruption. This solitude will become your power source, and it's in these moments that you'll find the strength to eliminate distractions from your life. Next, you need to take control of your environment. Your physical space plays a huge role in how focused you are. If you're working in a cluttered space, surrounded by distractions, your mind will be cluttered too. If your workspace is filled with things that don't help you move forward, it's time to get rid of them. Clean up your environment, organize your workspace. Create a place that promotes focus and productivity. When your environment is clean and organized, it becomes much easier to focus on the things that matter. You also need to take control of your digital environment. Technology is one of the biggest distractions today. While it's an incredible tool, it can also be a massive time waster. Social media, notifications, and endless browsing can suck away hours of your day without you even realizing it. It's time to take back control. Set boundaries for yourself when it comes to technology. Turn off notifications for apps that don't serve your goals. Set specific times to check emails and social media, and stick to them. Don't let your phone dictate your day. You are in control of your time, not your phone. If you need to, use apps or tools that block distractions during work hours. The more you can create boundaries around your digital world, the more focused you'll become. Another important step is to stop multitasking. Many people think they can juggle multiple tasks at once, but the reality is, multitasking only leads to less productivity. When you split your attention, you're not giving your full focus to anything. You're only giving partial energy, and that leads to mistakes, slower progress, and a feeling of being overwhelmed. Instead, focus on one task at a time. When you give your full attention to something, you complete it faster, and you do it better. If you want to build an unstoppable life, you need to commit to giving your full attention to what matters. To truly cut distractions, you also need to stop seeking validation from others. In a world where everyone is trying to impress others and gain approval, it's easy to get distracted by other people's opinions. But let me tell you something. The only opinion that matters is your own. Stop worrying about what others think. Stop seeking approval for every decision you make. Instead, focus on your own vision and your own path. When you stop seeking validation from others, you free up your time and energy to focus on the things that will get you closer to your goals. Distractions are also linked to the idea of instant gratification. We live in a world where we want things now, and that mindset can lead to distractions. We check our phones every few minutes, binge watch shows, and indulge in habits that give us quick pleasure, but leave us empty. Building an unstoppable life requires delayed gratification. It requires doing the hard work, focusing on the long-term vision, and resisting the urge to chase after temporary distractions. When you focus on long-term rewards rather than short-term pleasure, you create a life that is truly unstoppable. Another step in cutting distractions is to build habits that support your goals. Success is not built in one day. It's built through consistent daily habits. What habits are you building today? Are they helping you get closer to your vision, or are they distractions in disguise? If you're spending time on things that don't contribute to your long-term success, it's time to replace those habits with ones that do. Start small. Pick one habit to focus on and commit to it every day. Whether it's waking up earlier, exercising, reading, or planning your day, make sure that every habit you form aligns with your goals. Accountability is another tool that can help you cut distractions. Tell someone about your goals. Let them know what you're working on, and ask them to check in on your progress. When you have someone holding you accountable, it's harder to let distractions take over. You'll be more committed to staying focused because you don't want to let someone else down. Find someone who believes in your goals and will help keep you on track. Lastly, be patient with yourself. Cutting distractions and focusing on building an unstoppable life is a process. It's not something that happens overnight. It takes time, effort, and consistency. Don't expect perfection from yourself. There will be days when distractions sneak in, but that's okay. What matters is that you get back on track. Stay committed to your vision, stay focused, and keep moving forward. Number 4, eliminate weak influences and develop a winner's mindset. Eliminating weak influences in your life is one of the most essential steps in developing a winner's mindset. Every day you are surrounded by people, environments, and situations that either lift you up or pull you down. These influences shape your beliefs, attitudes, and actions. If you want to build a powerful, unstoppable life, you must actively remove those weak influences that hold you back and replace them with strong, empowering influences that push you toward greatness. It all starts with the people you surround yourself with. Your friends, family, colleagues, and acquaintances all have an impact on your mindset and your level of success. Some people will encourage you to dream bigger and aim higher, while others will bring negativity and doubt into your life. There are people who will inspire you to push through challenges and become the best version of yourself, and there are those who will drag you into their own limitations. The truth is, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you want to develop a winner's mindset, you need to surround yourself with people who have the mindset you aspire to achieve. This is not about cutting people off for the sake of cutting them off. It's about recognizing when an influence is unhealthy or unproductive for your growth. Some people may not even realize that they are holding you back. They might be well-meaning, but their lack of ambition or their negativity can seep into your own thinking. You need to be brave enough to assess your relationships and decide which ones are nurturing your dreams and which ones are undermining them. Start by evaluating your circle of influence. Are the people around you encouraging your growth? Are they pushing you to be better, or are they reinforcing your self-doubt? If your circle is full of people who complain, procrastinate, and make excuses, it's time to make a change. A winner's mindset cannot thrive in an environment of negativity, apathy, or complacency. You need to be around people who challenge you, hold you accountable, and believe in your potential. Surround yourself with those who push you to become the best version of yourself, even when it's difficult. You also need to recognize the impact of weak influences in the media you consume. Every day you're exposed to countless messages, television, social media, news, advertisements, all of which shape your perspective. The problem is that many of these influences are designed to keep you passive, distracted, and focused on things that do not contribute to your personal growth. The news is often filled with negativity, fear, and stories of failure. Social media can be a breeding ground for comparison, envy, and insecurity. If you fill your mind with these weak influences, you'll start to believe that these limitations are true for you as well. To develop a winner's mindset, you must take control of the content you consume. Be intentional about what you watch, read, and listen to. Seek out positive, empowering content that aligns with your goals and values. Follow people who inspire you, who have achieved what you want to achieve, and who push you to think bigger and bolder. Choose books, podcasts, and videos that teach you how to improve, grow, and become the best version of yourself. Replace time spent on mindless scrolling or watching negative news with activities that fuel your ambition and help you build a winner's mindset. Another powerful way to eliminate weak influences is by focusing on your own thoughts. The thoughts you entertain daily will ultimately determine your mindset and your level of success. A winner's mindset starts in your mind, and if you allow negative, weak thoughts to take up space, you will never develop the strength and resilience you need to succeed. You have to actively control your thoughts and filter out the ones that do not serve you. Start by recognizing the negative self-talk that creeps into your mind. Thoughts like, "I can't do this," "I'm not good enough," "I don't deserve success," or "it's too late for me," are all weak influences that keep you stuck. These thoughts come from fear, insecurity, and a lack of confidence. The key to developing a winner's mindset is to challenge these thoughts the moment they arise. Instead of accepting them as truth, ask yourself if they are really accurate. Are these thoughts based on facts, or are they just limiting beliefs? Replace these negative thoughts with positive, empowering ones that affirm your strength, ability, and worth. Remind yourself that you are capable of achieving your goals, that you deserve success, and that you are in control of your future. One of the most powerful tools for eliminating weak influences is developing discipline. A winner's mindset is built on the foundation of self-discipline. Discipline is what keeps you focused, even when things get tough. It's what helps you push through resistance and stay committed to your goals, even when you don't feel like it. The more disciplined you become, the less power weak influences will have over you. Discipline is not about forcing yourself to work harder or be perfect. It's about making consistent, deliberate choices that move you closer to your goals. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. It's about developing habits that align with the person you want to become. If you want to develop a winner's mindset, you must commit to building strong, productive habits that will keep you moving forward, regardless of the distractions or obstacles that may come your way. A winner's mindset is also about developing mental toughness. Mental toughness is what allows you to stay focused and motivated, even when things aren't going well. It's the ability to stay calm under pressure, bounce back from failure, and keep going when others might quit. It's easy to be positive when everything is going well, but a winner's mindset is tested when things get hard. Developing mental toughness requires you to embrace challenges, stay resilient, and keep pushing forward, no matter how difficult the journey may be. To build mental toughness, start by embracing discomfort. Growth happens when you step outside of your comfort zone and face challenges head-on. Instead of avoiding difficult situations, embrace them as opportunities to strengthen your mindset. When you face adversity, remind yourself that it's not permanent and that every challenge you overcome makes you stronger. Keep moving forward, even when things get tough, and you'll find that you become more resilient, and capable of handling anything that comes your way. A winner's mindset is also about taking responsibility for your life. Many people spend their lives blaming others or external circumstances for their lack of success. They blame their upbringing, their job, their relationships, or the economy. But a winner knows that they are in control of their life. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you respond. When you take responsibility for your life, you stop making excuses and start taking action. You stop waiting for the perfect time or the perfect conditions. You start doing what you can with what you have right now. This mindset of ownership is crucial for anyone who wants to build a life of success and fulfillment. Finally, developing a winner's mindset means being persistent. Success does not happen overnight, and it's not a straight path. There will be setbacks, failures, and challenges along the way. But a winner does not quit. A winner understands that persistence is the key to overcoming obstacles and achieving long-term success. Keep going, even when the road gets tough. Trust in the process, stay committed to your goals, and never give up. Number 5. Turn loneliness into power by sharpening your discipline. Loneliness can be one of the most misunderstood and feared experiences in life. Many people see it as a weakness, a state that needs to be filled with distractions or constant company. But what if I told you that loneliness, instead of being something to fear, could actually become one of your greatest strengths? What if the moments of solitude, when you're alone with nothing but your thoughts, could be transformed into an opportunity to sharpen your discipline and build unshakable focus? The truth is, loneliness doesn't have to be a negative thing. When you embrace it as a tool for personal growth, you start to realize that it's in these moments of solitude that the real magic happens. When the world is quiet, when there are no distractions pulling at you, that's when you can truly focus on what matters most. You can refine your habits, improve your skills, and work on becoming the best version of yourself. And the key to unlocking the power of loneliness is sharpening your discipline. Discipline is the foundation of success. It's what keeps you going when the excitement fades and the motivation wears thin. It's what drives you to do the things you know you need to do, even when you don't feel like doing them. And when you're alone, without any outside distractions, you have the perfect environment to cultivate and strengthen your discipline. The first step in turning loneliness into power is to recognize the value of being alone. We live in a world that constantly encourages us to seek external validation, to fill our lives with noise, people, and activity. Social media, television, work obligations, and social gatherings can all serve as distractions that keep us from truly focusing on ourselves. But when you're alone, when you're removed from the external chaos, you have the chance to reconnect with your inner self. Take a moment to appreciate the solitude. Rather than seeing it as a void, a gap that needs to be filled, see it as an opportunity to reset, to reflect, and to grow. This is your time. You don't need to wait for someone else's approval, for a situation to be just right, or for external circumstances to change. You have everything you need in this moment to start building the life you want. And the best way to make the most of this time is by honing your discipline. Start by creating a routine. The power of discipline lies in consistency. When you're alone, you have the freedom to set your own schedule and stick to it. It's easy to get distracted when there's no structure in your day. But when you decide to structure your time, whether it's a morning routine, a work schedule, or a workout plan, you're creating the foundation for success. You're training yourself to be consistent, to stay committed, and to take action even when it feels difficult. One of the most powerful ways to sharpen your discipline is by setting specific, achievable goals. What do you want to accomplish in the next month, 6 months, or year? When you're alone, you have the opportunity to focus on these goals without being distracted by the opinions, demands, or pressures of others. Take time to sit down and write out your goals, both short-term and long-term. Be specific, break them down into actionable steps, and most importantly, commit to taking consistent action toward achieving them. Discipline requires self-control. It's the ability to delay gratification, to resist the urge to give in to distractions, and to stay focused on the bigger picture. When you're alone, it's easy to slip into habits of procrastination or to indulge in mindless activities. But if you want to turn loneliness into power, you must exercise your self-control. This means resisting the urge to waste time on things that don't align with your goals. It means saying no to distractions, even when they're tempting. It means putting in the work, even when no one is watching. To build self-control, start small. Focus on one habit you want to develop. Whether it's waking up early, exercising daily, or reading a book each week. Commit to doing this habit every day, without exception. The key to building discipline is repetition. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. And as you start to see progress in one area of your life, you'll find that your discipline strengthens in other areas as well. Another important aspect of turning loneliness into power is learning to be comfortable with discomfort. The truth is, growth never happens in your comfort zone. It happens when you push yourself beyond what feels easy and familiar. When you're alone, there's no one around to distract you, and no one to offer a quick fix when things get tough. You have to face the challenges head on and develop the resilience to keep going, even when it's uncomfortable. Start by embracing the discomfort that comes with self-improvement. If you want to improve your health, for example, you'll have to push through the soreness and fatigue of a good workout. If you want to improve your skills, you'll have to endure the frustration of practice and the mistakes that come with it. Discipline isn't about avoiding discomfort, it's about embracing it and using it as fuel for your growth. To sharpen your discipline, you also need to build mental toughness. This is the ability to stay focused, calm, and committed, even when things don't go as planned. Mental toughness is what allows you to keep going when you feel like quitting. It's what helps you stay disciplined when you're faced with challenges, setbacks, or temptations. And it's something that can only be developed when you're alone, when you're forced to rely on your own inner strength. One way to build mental toughness is by setting challenges for yourself. Challenge yourself to do things that are outside of your comfort zone, that push you to grow and that require you to stay disciplined. It could be something as simple as committing to a workout routine, practicing a new skill, or reading a certain number of books. The key is to push yourself consistently, even when you don't feel like it. Each time you succeed in pushing through discomfort, your mental toughness grows and your discipline becomes stronger. Accountability is another powerful tool for strengthening your discipline. When you're alone, it's easy to let things slide because there's no one around to hold you accountable. But accountability is essential for staying disciplined. If you want to turn loneliness into power, find ways to hold yourself accountable to your goals. Write them down, track your progress, and review your results regularly. If you're working toward a big goal, consider sharing it with someone you trust so that they can help keep you on track. The more you hold yourself accountable, the more disciplined you'll become. One of the most important aspects of turning loneliness into power is learning to enjoy the process. It's easy to become fixated on the end result, but true discipline is about committing to the journey, not just the destination. When you focus on enjoying the work, the effort, and the progress, you'll find that discipline comes more naturally. The work itself becomes its own reward, and the feeling of accomplishment comes from the daily effort, not just the outcome. Finally, when you turn loneliness into power, you begin to develop a sense of pride in your own growth. Discipline is something that strengthens over time. As you continue to push yourself, refine your habits, and stay consistent, you begin to realize that you are capable of achieving far more than you ever thought possible. You stop relying on external validation and start deriving your sense of self-worth from your own actions, your own efforts, and your own discipline. Number 6. Train yourself to thrive without needing anyone's approval. One of the most common traps we fall into is the need for external validation. We seek approval from others to feel validated, to feel worthy, or to feel good about our decisions. The truth is, this need for approval from others can be a significant barrier to personal growth. When you rely on others to define your value, you give up control of your life. You place your worth in the hands of people who may not understand your journey, your goals, or your true potential. But imagine what would happen if you could break free from this cycle. What if you could train yourself to thrive without needing anyone's approval? The first step in training yourself to thrive independently is recognizing the source of this need for approval. It's not something we're born with, but something we develop over time. Usually as a response to how we were raised, the environment we grew up in, or societal expectations. From an early age, We are taught to seek validation through grades, achievements, or praise from others. We start to connect our sense of worth with how others view us, and as we grow older, we carry this mindset into our adult lives. But the problem with this approach is that no one can truly define your worth except you. Other people may praise you, they may criticize you, but neither of those things should have the power to define your sense of self-worth. When you seek approval from others, you're giving them the power to shape your identity. You're letting their opinions dictate your choices and your happiness. This is a dangerous cycle that keeps you from living a life that is true to yourself. The key to thriving without needing anyone's approval lies in developing a strong sense of self-worth. When you know your value and are confident in who you are, you no longer need others to tell you that you matter. You don't need the validation of others to feel successful or worthy. You've already decided that you are enough, and that decision empowers you to make choices based on your own desires, values, and goals. Start by accepting yourself as you are. The first step in building self-worth is accepting your strengths and your flaws. It's about acknowledging that you are a unique individual with your own talents, skills, and qualities. You don't need to compare yourself to others or seek their approval to feel good about yourself. When you accept who you are, you begin to break free from the need to impress others or gain their validation. You become less concerned with their opinions and more focused on your own goals and personal growth. Another important aspect of thriving without needing approval is learning to trust your own judgment. We all have an inner voice, a sense of intuition that can guide us toward the right decisions. But when we are constantly seeking approval from others, we silence that inner voice. We start second-guessing ourselves, relying on others' opinions instead of trusting our instincts. This lack of self-trust can lead to hesitation, doubt, and a lack of confidence in our choices. To train yourself to thrive without seeking approval, start by listening to that inner voice. When faced with decisions, ask yourself what feels right, rather than what will get you the most praise or recognition. Trust that you have the wisdom and insight to make the right decisions for your life. Even if you make mistakes, trust that they are part of the learning process. The more you practice trusting yourself, the more confidence you'll build in your ability to navigate life on your own terms. One of the most powerful ways to train yourself to thrive without needing approval is by developing resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, challenges, and criticism. It's about staying true to your goals and values, even when others doubt you or try to steer you in a different direction. When you are resilient, you don't rely on external validation to keep moving forward. You are driven by your own vision, your own purpose, and your own commitment to success. Resilience comes from within, and it's something that can be built over time. It starts by embracing challenges as opportunities for growth. When you face difficulties, instead of seeking approval or reassurance from others, ask yourself what you can learn from the situation. How can you grow stronger, smarter, or more capable as a result of this experience? The more you embrace challenges and push through them, the more resilient you become. And the more resilient you are, the less you need to rely on the approval of others to keep moving forward. Another key aspect of thriving without approval is setting clear personal goals. When you have a clear vision of what you want to achieve in life, you can create a roadmap for your success that is based on your own desires and aspirations. This focus on your own goals helps you stay motivated and committed, even when others don't understand or support your journey. Set goals that are meaningful to you. These should be goals that align with your values, passions, and long-term vision. Don't let others' expectations or opinions determine what you should be working toward. Your goals are yours to define, and they should be guided by what feels right to you, not what will gain the approval of others. To stay focused on your goals, create a plan of action. Break down your long-term goals into smaller, actionable steps, and commit to taking consistent daily action toward achieving them. The more progress you make, the more you'll realize that you don't need others' approval to feel successful. Your success is measured by the progress you make toward your own goals, not by how others perceive you. A big part of thriving without needing approval is learning to detach your self-worth from external validation. We live in a world that constantly tells us that our value is based on what we achieve, how we look, or how others perceive us. But when you begin to understand that your worth is intrinsic, that it comes from who you are, not from what others think of you, you can start to free yourself from the need for approval. This detachment from external validation can be challenging, especially if you've spent years seeking approval from others. But it's a necessary step in your personal growth. Start by recognizing the difference between your value as a person and the opinions of others. Understand that others' approval or disapproval doesn't change your worth. When you detach your sense of self-worth from the opinions of others, you begin to feel more confident, self-assured, and empowered. At times, you may encounter people who try to bring you down, criticize you, or discourage you from pursuing your goals. This is inevitable. No matter what you do in life, there will always be people who doubt you or disagree with your choices. But thriving without approval means learning to ignore these negative voices. It's not about being arrogant or dismissive of others. It's about recognizing that their opinions are not what define you. Stay focused on your own path and your own vision for success. The ability to thrive without needing anyone's approval also requires cultivating a strong sense of independence. Independence doesn't mean isolating yourself or rejecting the support of others. It means taking full responsibility for your own life, decisions, and happiness. It's about realizing that you are the only one who can determine your future. Your success is not reliant on anyone else's approval or validation. To build independence, start by taking ownership of your decisions. Stop seeking permission or approval before taking action. Trust that you have the ability to make the right choices for yourself. Even when you make mistakes, take responsibility for them and learn from them. As you take more ownership of your life, you'll feel less dependent on others for validation and more confident in your ability to create the life you want. Number 7. Face silence and use it to unlock your true potential. Silence is one of the most underappreciated tools we have at our disposal. In a world filled with constant noise, distractions, and the relentless pace of modern life, silence often feels uncomfortable or unnatural. We are constantly surrounded by stimuli, from the hum of electronic devices to the chatter of people around us. But in the stillness of silence, there lies an extraordinary power, a power that can unlock your true potential and lead you to personal breakthroughs that you may never have thought possible. When you learn to face silence and embrace it, you can uncover insights about yourself and the world around you that have been hidden beneath the noise. Silence is often misunderstood. We tend to associate it with loneliness, boredom, or a feeling of emptiness. But in reality, silence is not the absence of sound. It's the absence of distraction. It creates a space where your thoughts can come to the forefront, where you can focus your attention inward and truly listen to what your mind and heart are telling you. In silence, you can find clarity, and in clarity, you will discover your true potential. This process begins by facing the discomfort that silence brings. Many people avoid silence because it forces them to confront themselves. In a noisy world, it's easy to drown out our inner voice and ignore the deeper questions we may be afraid to ask ourselves. But when you allow yourself to sit in silence, without distractions or outside influences, you create the opportunity to listen to the thoughts that may be buried deep within you. These are the thoughts that can guide you toward your purpose, help you understand your passions, and reveal the obstacles that have been holding you back. If you're willing to sit with these uncomfortable thoughts, you will unlock new levels of self-awareness and insight. The first step in using silence to unlock your potential is learning to become comfortable with it. The more you resist silence, the more difficult it will become to face it. But when you make the conscious decision to embrace silence, to sit in stillness and simply be present, you start to build a relationship with it. You learn to appreciate the peace it brings, the space it creates for your mind to settle, and the clarity it offers. It's in this space that your true potential can begin to emerge. One of the most powerful benefits of silence is the ability it gives you to reflect on your life. Reflection is an essential part of personal growth, but it's difficult to do when you're constantly surrounded by noise. In silence, you can take a step back from the chaos of daily life and examine your choices, your behaviors, and your goals. You can assess where you've been, where you are, and where you want to go. Reflection allows you to identify patterns in your life, both positive and negative, and gives you the opportunity to make adjustments that align with your true desires and values. When you're faced with silence, you have the chance to look inward and confront the fears or doubts that have been holding you back. Too often, We hide behind the distractions of the world to avoid dealing with the things we're afraid of or the things we don't want to face. But silence forces us to slow down and examine those fears. It's in those quiet moments that you may uncover the root causes of your insecurities or limiting beliefs. When you can acknowledge these fears without judgment, you begin the process of dismantling them and replacing them with empowering thoughts that allow you to move forward with confidence. Another important aspect of silence is its ability to cultivate mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, without judgment or distraction. It's about observing your thoughts, emotions, and surroundings, without getting caught up in them. Silence provides the perfect environment for practicing mindfulness. When you're alone in a quiet space, you can become fully attuned to your thoughts and feelings without the noise of the outside world interfering. This heightened awareness can help you better understand your emotions, identify your true desires, and make more intentional decisions that are in alignment with your values and goals. In a world that constantly demands your attention, silence allows you to reconnect with your own sense of purpose. When you take the time to sit in silence, you can tune out the external noise that pulls you in different directions. You can focus on what truly matters to you and begin to cultivate a sense of direction and intention in your life. It's easy to get lost in the opinions and expectations of others, but silence provides the space for you to remember who you are and what you want to achieve. It reminds you that your path is yours to choose, and that you have the power to create the life you desire. One of the greatest advantages of facing silence is the ability it gives you to develop your creativity. Creativity thrives in quiet, uninterrupted spaces where the mind is free to wander and explore new ideas. In silence, your mind is no longer bogged down by the constant barrage of external inputs, which allows it to think more freely. You may find that solutions to problems you've been struggling with come to you more easily, or that new ideas and insights begin to surface. Creativity is a powerful force, and silence provides the fertile ground in which it can grow. The act of being in silence also helps you become more self-disciplined. In a world full of distractions, it's easy to get pulled off course. Silence requires you to focus, to resist the urge to check your phone or fill the space with noise. The more you practice being in silence, the more you develop the discipline to stay focused on your goals and priorities. Silence teaches you to resist the urge to react to every distraction, and instead to create space for the things that truly matter. As you build this discipline, you'll find that you're able to stay more focused, work more efficiently, and accomplish more in less time. Additionally, silence encourages deep listening. It's not just about hearing the world around you. It's about truly listening to what's being said, both externally and internally. When you face silence, you allow yourself the opportunity to listen to your own thoughts, ideas, and desires. You also become more attuned to the needs of others and the world around you. In silence, you can hear the subtle messages that often get drowned out by the noise of daily life. This deeper listening can lead to more meaningful connections, greater empathy, and a deeper understanding of the people and situations in your life. Facing silence is also an essential part of developing inner peace. In our busy world, it's easy to become overwhelmed by stress, anxiety, and the pressures of life. Silence offers a refuge from this constant pressure. It's in silence that you can slow down, catch your breath, and reconnect with a sense of calm. By regularly facing silence, you can develop a greater sense of inner peace that will help you navigate the ups and downs of life with greater resilience and strength. When you embrace silence, you learn to trust yourself and your own inner guidance. You no longer need to seek external validation or approval because you are confident in your own thoughts and decisions. You become more self-reliant and self-assured, knowing that you have the answers within you. Silence gives you the space to cultivate this trust and to build the confidence to pursue your goals with unwavering belief in yourself. Number 8. Stop seeking validation and create your own success. We are constantly seeking validation from others. It's human nature to want approval, to seek recognition, and to feel appreciated for the work we do and the person we are. But the truth is, constantly looking for validation from others is a trap. It's a cycle that can keep you stuck in a state of uncertainty and dependence. It prevents you from stepping into your true power and creating the life you truly desire. If you want to create your own success, you must first stop seeking validation from others and start validating yourself. The first step in this journey is understanding why we seek validation in the first place. From a young age, we are conditioned to look for external approval. We are taught to follow the rules, meet the expectations of others, and do what is right according to society's standards. While this can help us navigate the early stages of life, it can also create a dependency on external validation. We become so focused on what others think of us that we lose sight of who we are and what we truly want. If you want to create your own success, you must start by disconnecting from the need for external validation. This doesn't mean you have to abandon your relationships or stop caring about what others think altogether. It simply means that you need to stop allowing other people's opinions to dictate your worth and your direction in life. When you rely on external validation, you're giving away your power. You're allowing others to control your emotions, your actions, and your sense of self. But when you learn to validate yourself, you take back that power and put it in your own hands. One of the first things you can do to stop seeking validation is to recognize that your worth is not determined by the opinions of others. Your worth is intrinsic, it comes from within. You don't need anyone else's approval to know that you are valuable, worthy, and capable of achieving greatness. This realization can be incredibly freeing. When you stop measuring your worth by the approval of others, you free yourself from the chains of comparison and competition. You can start living your life on your own terms, without constantly looking over your shoulder to see if you're meeting someone else's expectations. It's also important to recognize that seeking validation from others is often a form of insecurity. Deep down, we seek validation because we don't fully believe in ourselves. We doubt our abilities, question our decisions, and wonder if we are on the right path. But here's the truth. You don't need anyone's approval to succeed. The only person whose opinion matters is your own. When you learn to trust yourself and your decisions, you become unstoppable. You no longer need external validation because you have everything you need within you to create the life you want. Another important aspect of stopping the need for validation is recognizing that people's opinions are often fleeting and unreliable. Today's approval can turn into tomorrow's criticism. If you base your sense of self-worth on the opinions of others, you're setting yourself up for a constant emotional roller coaster. You might feel great when people praise you, but you'll feel crushed when they criticize you. This can cause you to second-guess yourself and slow down your progress. When you stop seeking validation, you create a solid foundation within yourself that isn't dependent on the ever-changing opinions of others. You can remain steady, focused, and driven, no matter what others think or say. When you start validating yourself, you begin to develop a sense of self-confidence that is rooted in your own abilities and achievements. You start to see yourself as the creator of your own success, not as someone who is waiting for permission or approval from others. This shift in mindset is incredibly powerful. It allows you to take bold action, make decisions with confidence, and trust in your own abilities to achieve your goals. Instead of waiting for someone else to tell you that you're on the right track, you trust yourself to know what's best for you. Creating your own success also involves taking responsibility for your life. When you stop seeking validation, you take full ownership of your decisions and actions. You no longer rely on others to tell you if you're doing things right. You make the decisions and take the actions that align with your own values and goals. This sense of personal responsibility is empowering. It allows you to build the life you want, regardless of the opinions or judgments of others. Another important aspect of creating your own success is learning to embrace failure as a part of the process. When you're constantly seeking validation, failure can feel like the end of the road. You may fear rejection or criticism, and avoid taking risks because you're afraid of failing in front of others. But when you stop seeking validation, you start to view failure differently. You understand that failure is not a reflection of your worth. It's simply a stepping stone on the path to success. Every successful person has faced failure at some point. It's how you handle failure that determines your success. When you stop seeking validation, you can fail forward, learning from your mistakes and using them as opportunities to grow. One of the most powerful ways to stop seeking validation is to start celebrating your own achievements, no matter how small they may seem. When you achieve something, don't wait for others to recognize it. Celebrate it yourself. Acknowledge the hard work and effort you put in, and give yourself credit for your accomplishments. The more you celebrate yourself, the more you build your own self-worth. This is how you begin to create your own success. You stop waiting for someone else to tell you that you're doing a good job. You tell yourself. Another strategy is to stop comparing yourself to others. The habit of comparing yourself to others is one of the biggest sources of seeking validation. When you compare yourself to others, you are always measuring your worth against someone else's achievements, appearance, or success. But the truth is, everyone is on their own unique journey. The only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. If you're making progress, if you're moving forward, then you're on the right path. Stop seeking validation through comparison and start validating your own progress. Building your own success also requires you to develop a strong sense of self-discipline. When you stop seeking validation from others, you are less likely to be distracted by the opinions or judgments of people around you. You become more focused on your own goals and take consistent, deliberate action to achieve them. Discipline allows you to stay the course, even when things get tough, because you know that your success is not dependent on the approval of others. It's dependent on your own actions. Finally, when you stop seeking validation, you begin to develop a sense of peace and contentment with who you are. You realize that your worth is not dependent on what others think of you. You become more comfortable in your own skin and more confident in your decisions. You stop living for the approval of others and start living for yourself. This is when true success begins. You create your own path, your own destiny, and you become the person you were always meant to be. Number 9. Master your emotions and become mentally unbreakable alone. Mastering your emotions is the first step in becoming mentally unbreakable. Life will inevitably throw challenges your way, whether it's personal struggles, professional setbacks, or the uncertainty of the world around you. The difference between those who succeed and those who falter is how they manage their emotions in these tough times. Emotions are powerful. They shape our thoughts, influence our actions, and ultimately determine our destiny. If you can learn to control them, you can truly shape the life you want. The key to mastering your emotions is awareness. Before you can control your emotions, you must first understand them. Emotions are neither good nor bad. They are simply signals that tell us how we are reacting to the world around us. If you are angry, frustrated, or anxious, your emotions are letting you know that something in your environment is causing discomfort or distress. If you are happy, excited, or fulfilled, your emotions are telling you that things are going well. Too often, we react to emotions without fully understanding them. We let them control us instead of using them to our advantage. When things go wrong, it's easy to become overwhelmed by negative emotions like anger, sadness, or fear. But when you allow these emotions to dictate your response, you lose control of the situation. The first step in becoming mentally unbreakable is to take control of your emotions instead of letting them control you. One of the best ways to do this is through mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment and observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment. When you practice mindfulness, you can step back from your emotions and observe them objectively. Instead of reacting impulsively to a stressful situation, you can pause, take a deep breath, and choose how to respond. This gives you the power to control your actions and keep your emotions in check. Another important aspect of mastering your emotions is recognizing that you are responsible for how you feel. No one can make you angry, upset, or happy unless you allow them to. This can be a difficult truth to accept because it means that you have to take full responsibility for your emotional state. But the moment you take ownership of your emotions, you regain control. You stop blaming others or external circumstances for how you feel, and you start empowering yourself to choose how you respond. When you become mentally unbreakable, you stop letting your emotions control your decisions. You make choices based on logic and reason, not on how you feel in the moment. If you let emotions drive your decisions, you will often find yourself making impulsive choices that don't align with your long-term goals. For example, if you make decisions based on fear, you may avoid taking risks or pursuing opportunities that could lead to growth. If you make decisions based on anger, you may act out of spite or frustration, which could damage relationships or opportunities. But when you master your emotions, You can make clear-headed decisions that move you closer to your goals. Developing emotional mastery also means learning how to stay calm under pressure. Life is full of unexpected challenges, and it's easy to become overwhelmed when things don't go according to plan. But mentally unbreakable people don't let chaos or adversity knock them off course. They stay focused on their goals and take deliberate action, even when things get tough. They don't let emotions like fear, doubt, or frustration cloud their judgment. Instead, they approach each challenge with a clear mind and a steady hand. A big part of emotional mastery is learning how to deal with stress. Stress is a natural part of life, and it's impossible to avoid it entirely. However, you can learn to manage stress effectively so it doesn't overwhelm you. One of the best ways to do this is by practicing stress-reducing techniques, such as deep breathing, meditation, or physical exercise. These practices help you stay grounded and focused, even in the midst of challenging situations. When you take care of your mental and physical well-being, you are better equipped to handle the stresses that life throws your way. It's also important to build emotional resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks and keep going, no matter how difficult the situation may be. Resilient people don't give up when things get tough. They persevere through adversity and use challenges as opportunities for growth. Resilience is a skill that can be developed over time by facing difficulties head-on and learning from your experiences. The more you build your emotional resilience, the less likely you are to be broken by the inevitable hardships of life. Building emotional resilience also means learning how to process and release negative emotions. It's normal to feel anger, sadness, or frustration from time to time, but it's important not to hold on to these emotions for too long. When you bottle up negative emotions, they can fester and lead to stress, anxiety, or depression. Instead, learn how to release these emotions in healthy ways. This could involve talking to someone you trust, writing in a journal, or engaging in physical activities that help release pent-up energy. By processing and releasing negative emotions, you create space for positive emotions to flow. One of the most powerful ways to master your emotions is by developing a positive mindset. Your thoughts and beliefs directly influence your emotions. If you constantly think negative thoughts, you are more likely to feel negative emotions. But when you shift your mindset to focus on the positive, you begin to feel more positive emotions. This doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It simply means choosing to focus on solutions rather than problems and finding the silver lining in every situation. Mentally unbreakable people understand that their emotions are not permanent. They don't get caught up in temporary feelings of sadness, anger, or fear. They know that emotions come and go, and they don't let them dictate their actions or decisions. This ability to detach from fleeting emotions allows them to stay focused on their long-term goals and maintain a sense of calm and clarity, even in difficult situations. Another important aspect of emotional mastery is self-compassion. Being mentally unbreakable doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring your emotions. It means acknowledging them, accepting them, and treating yourself with kindness and understanding when you experience difficult emotions. Instead of criticizing yourself for feeling angry, sad, or frustrated, recognize that these emotions are part of being human. Treat yourself with the same compassion you would offer to a friend who is going through a tough time. This self-compassion helps you stay grounded and prevents you from becoming overwhelmed by your emotions. To become mentally unbreakable, you must also develop emotional boundaries. This means learning how to protect yourself from negative influences and toxic people. Not everyone you encounter in life will treat you with kindness or respect. Some people will try to manipulate or control you, while others may project their own negativity onto you. By setting emotional boundaries, you can protect yourself from these negative influences and maintain your emotional well-being. This may mean limiting your time with certain people or learning how to say no when someone is asking too much of you. By establishing clear boundaries, you create a safe space for yourself to thrive emotionally and mentally. Becoming mentally unbreakable also means learning how to accept what you cannot change. There are many things in life that are beyond our control, and it's easy to become frustrated or upset when things don't go as planned. However, mentally unbreakable people don't waste energy on things they cannot control. Instead, they focus on what they can control: their thoughts, their actions, and their responses to external events. When you let go of the need to control everything, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and anxiety. Finally, one of the most important steps in mastering your emotions is learning to embrace discomfort. Growth happens outside of your comfort zone.
When you face challenges and difficult emotions head-on, you build emotional strength and resilience. You stop running away from discomfort and instead learn to thrive in it. This is where true mental toughness comes from. When you can face discomfort with confidence and grace, you become unbreakable.
Number 10. Choose independence and take full control of your future. To choose independence is to choose the power of self-determination. It's about taking full control of your life and shaping your future according to your values, your ambitions, and your unique vision. When you decide to be independent, you are no longer dependent on others for validation, for direction, or for approval. You stand alone, but it's in that space of solitude that you gain the clarity and strength to truly build a future that aligns with who you are and where you want to go. Independence starts with a mindset shift. Many people live their lives based on the expectations of others, constantly seeking approval, looking for permission, or waiting for the right moment to take action. But that moment will never come. The right moment is always right now. The right moment is when you take responsibility for your own life, your choices, and your future. This doesn't mean you ignore the influence of others, but you stop letting them control your path. The first step in choosing independence is recognizing that you are in control of your decisions. You are the one who chooses how you spend your time, how you respond to challenges, and how you define success. It's easy to fall into the trap of blaming external circumstances for your situation. Maybe you're waiting for the perfect job, the perfect relationship, or the perfect opportunity. But the truth is, you already have everything you need to create the future you want. You have the power to choose your actions, and through those actions, you shape your destiny. Independence also means making your own decisions, regardless of what others think. The world is full of advice, opinions, and expectations. Everyone has an idea of what you should do, who you should be, and how you should live. But at the end of the day, only you can decide what's best for your life. Your decisions should be based on your values, your passions, and your vision. It's not about pleasing others or living up to someone else's idea of success. It's about building a life that fulfills you and helps you grow into the person you're meant to become. To take control of your future, you must first let go of the limiting beliefs that have been holding you back. Many people are trapped in cycles of fear, doubt, and insecurity. They believe they aren't good enough, they aren't capable enough, or they don't deserve success. These beliefs are like chains that keep you stuck in a place of dependence, whether it's dependence on others or dependence on circumstances. The moment you choose independence, you break free from these mental shackles. You stop limiting yourself with the stories you've been telling yourself about what you can or can't do. You begin to see opportunities instead of obstacles. One of the most powerful aspects of independence is the ability to take ownership of your mistakes and your successes. When you are independent, you are fully responsible for your life. This means that when things go wrong, you don't blame others or make excuses. You face your mistakes, learn from them, and move forward. At the same time, when things go right, you take pride in your accomplishments because you know you earned them through your own effort and decision-making. Independence doesn't mean you never ask for help. It means that you don't rely on others to define your worth or dictate your choices. A key component of independence is the ability to set boundaries. When you're independent, you know what you want, and you're willing to stand firm in your values and goals. Setting boundaries means saying no to distractions, negative influences, and anything that doesn't serve your purpose. This isn't about being rigid or inflexible. It's about protecting your time, your energy, and your focus. You are not obligated to say yes to everything. You are not obligated to please everyone. You are obligated to honor your own vision and pursue your own dreams. Independence also means taking full responsibility for your financial future. In a world where financial security can often feel elusive, it's easy to fall into the trap of relying on others for financial support or waiting for the economy to improve. But financial independence is something you can create for yourself. It's about learning how to manage your money, make smart financial decisions, and invest in your future. It's about taking control of your finances rather than being controlled by them. You don't need to wait for the perfect job or the right circumstances to start building wealth. It starts with making intentional choices about how you spend and save, and gradually building the foundation for long-term financial freedom. Taking control of your future also involves taking care of your physical and mental health. When you are independent, you don't rely on others to take care of your well-being. You prioritize your health, your fitness, and your mindset because you understand that these are the foundations for everything you want to achieve. When you're physically and mentally strong, you can take on any challenge that comes your way. You're not dependent on others to pick you up when you fall. You have the strength to rise on your own. Choosing independence requires discipline. It's easy to get distracted by short-term pleasures or the approval of others, but independence means making choices that serve your long-term goals, not your short-term desires. It means saying no to things that don't align with your vision, and saying yes to things that will move you closer to where you want to go. The path of independence is not always the easiest, but it's the most rewarding because it leads to true freedom, the freedom to be who you are, to live the life you want, and to create the future you deserve. Taking control of your future also means being adaptable. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes things don't go according to plan. But when you choose independence, you are not tied to any one specific path. You have the flexibility to adjust, pivot, and create new opportunities for yourself. Instead of seeing setbacks as failures, you see them as stepping stones to greater success. Independence is about trusting yourself to navigate life's ups and downs with resilience and confidence. One of the most liberating aspects of independence is the ability to define your own success. Society often tries to impose a one-size-fits-all definition of success, but the truth is that success is personal. Success is different for everyone. It's not about the amount of money you make or the title you hold. It's about living a life that is authentic to you and aligns with your deepest values. When you choose independence, you get to define success on your own terms. You get to decide what matters most to you and how you measure your progress. You are not bound by society's standards or anyone else's expectations. Independence also means cultivating a strong sense of self-belief. There will be moments when you face doubt or fear, moments when you question your abilities or wonder if you're on the right path. But when you choose independence, you trust yourself to make the right decisions. You trust your instincts, your skills, and your resilience. You believe in your capacity to handle whatever life throws your way. Self-belief is the foundation of independence because it allows you to move forward with confidence, even in the face of uncertainty. As you take control of your future, it's important to remember that independence doesn't mean isolating yourself from others. It means being able to stand on your own while still building meaningful relationships. You don't need anyone's approval to live your life, but you also don't have to go through life alone. You can surround yourself with supportive, like-minded individuals who encourage you to be your best self, without depending on them for validation or direction. Your relationship should complement your independence, not define it.